Hello, fifth grade. Today is Friday, November 13th. Happy Friday the 13th. Thanks for shutting the door. Uh, Today, I promised Melina, I know, and Hayden might prefer this too. I'm doing a video this way instead, try to make it easier. So just to have a quick review of your poetry book, and then I'll tell you what we did. So you should have hyperbole. Oops, that's a alliteration, I guess, on this side, and that has something to do with your name, and you should have an adjective in front of your name and a verb. You should have hyperbole. I gave you one of a note card for that. If you don't still have it, you can look up an example of a hyperbole on Google. Then we did onomatopoeia. You can pick any sound word. It's any word that makes the sound when you read the word, like buzz or whistle or clap. Then your next one should be an idiom. She has a big mouth. It doesn't really mean her mouth is really big. It means she tells my secrets. Or maybe she bosses me and talks too much. So you should have the idiom and then a picture that's the literal picture, but then down at the bottom you should tell what it means figuratively. It means she talks a lot or tells me secrets. And your next page was an oxymoron, so you should question, well, how can this also be that? So mine was original copy, so I said, how can an original also be a copy? How can you have an original copy? So I drew a picture of an original, and then on the other side I just drew a stack of copies. And then on this page, I did not assign specific similes to people. You can come in. I'm just doing a video. But that's another thing you can Google. I told Melina, I think that I wanted to do something that had to do with a bird because I wanted to use the feathers in my baggie. So I said he flies like a bird down the court. And all you had to do for that was draw your picture that goes with it. You could do an explanation if you want to as well. And that's the end of specific things you have to put in. Today we talked about what we could do with our extra pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have 4 if you think of the back as a page. You might have 5 extra pages. That is for your own writing. Anything, any kind of poem that you want to write. If you want to practice different rhyme schemes, you could have a couplet that's an AA, and then another one that's a BB, and then a CC. If you want to try like a AB kind of a rhyme, you can. If you don't want to rhyme, you could try writing a cinquain. And here's my example. It's about a noun. I chose myself as the noun, so I put my name at the top. And I said candy, caring, fun-loving. Those are 2 adjectives that describe me. And then I use 3 verbs about me: playing, teaching, learning. And then a short phrase that's like 3 to 5 words long about me: loves to laugh. And then I just restate the noun in a different way. My last name is Shappett, so that's an easy way to do it. Now you do not have to do one of these, and you do not have to do, you can do one that's about a bird. You can do one that's about your favorite sport. It's just easy to write one about yourself, or maybe somebody else in your family who you know a lot about. It kind of is written in the shape of a diamond, and that's the gist of that. The other one, Mr. Asher said, what about one of these? And I was like, oh yeah, I was going to put that on there. I wrote my name down the side. This is called an acrostic poem. You put the subject, put the word going down, each letter going down. It doesn't have to be your name. It could be school. It could be Christmas. It could be Halloween or Thanksgiving. And anyway, you can write one word for each letter: caring and noisy, something something. Or I could write it out like it's all one sentence. Or just have extra words in the lines, I guess is what I should say. So you can have more than one word next to caring if you're trying to make it sound like phrases or sentences. You have to have 2 original pieces of poetry. Even if they're really short, you have to have 2 of your own somethings. This is due on Monday. Today, also due on Monday, which I didn't reiterate to the class, but I think they bring them every day anyway. This is due on Monday. So make sure, I know you've been working on it, but if you want to get the points, I need to see it Monday. And what else do we do? Sorry, we did play a gym kit today, and I did not have enough time to let everybody know. The other thing we did that had to do with poetry was Sonnet 18. And we talked about the fact that William Shakespeare is a well-known English poet, playwright, and actor. He lived a long, long, long time ago, 1564 to 1616. He's well known for his plays like Romeo and Juliet. He also wrote 100, I think it says on there, 154 sonnets. And this is a sonnet. And we counted up the lines, and every sonnet has 14 lines. And then we looked at the rhyming pattern on it, and we found out that every sonnet follows this pattern. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. So the first 12 lines have little 4 lines together, kind of, that A, B rhyme together, and then C, D, C, D rhyme together, and then E, F, and then the last 2, G, G, are just a couplet that rhyme. And I also talked to them about the fact that sonnets are also special because they have certain number of syllables in each line, and they follow iambic pentameter, which you'll learn more about when you get in high school. But it's a way of, it's a system of accented and unaccented syllables. So it's like, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Da 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 da. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. So when you read it, you don't really read it with that kind of rhythm, but I wanted to get you to kind of hear the words that have more accent to them. They're said louder. We talked just for a little bit about what accent means. If you have a 2-syllable word or a 2-syllable name, it's easy to think of it this way. So like my name is Candy, and the accent usually for a 2-syllable name is on the first syllable, can-dy. So you say that word with more power, or you say that syllable with more power, candy. If we said it the opposite way and put the accent on the second syllable, you would call me Candy. Or my name is Mrs. Shappet. Shappet has an accent on the sha. If we turned it around, you would call me Mrs. Shapat. You put the accent on the pat part of my name. So we just talked a little bit about it. It's also mentioned that this is a love poem. He's comparing his love to a summer's day, and then he goes on to say that, well, sometimes the summer can fade, and obviously, if you think about in terms of life, your adulthood is summer, and then in the fall, you're starting to get old, and then in the winter, you get really old and die, and then in the spring, it's a baby, so it's kind of the seasons. Well, he says that even as other people fade in the summer, their beauty grows old, but not for you. He says, but thy eternal summer shall not fade. You're so lovely. So if you're ever in need of a love poem, there you go. That's all you have to do with that. You can certainly try reading that out loud to yourself. There are some old English words in it. and a different way of talking. We don't say wondrous and growest, and we don't usually say nor shall or thou. So it's definitely some different words, but it's kind of fun to practice and do some kind of hurt reading like that. Sometimes, even if it's weird, you still try it anyway. And then the last thing I'm going to do is read aloud the 2 chapters that you have missed. And I think I can do it pretty quick because they were short. So chapter 9 from Among the Hidden. Luke was so surprised. I think I read the part where he saw a face in the window. It's where you guys left off. Luke was so surprised he lost his balance and almost fell backwards off the trunk. By the time he recovered and righted himself, the face was gone. Had he imagined it? Was it just one of the Sports family brothers home early from school? Kids got sick, like Dad said, or they decided to play hooky. Luke tried to remember every detail of the face he'd seen, or thought he'd seen. It had been younger than either of the Sports family brothers. Softer, hadn't it? Maybe it was a thief or a maid come early. No, it had been a child. He didn't even let himself think what another child in that house would be. He stared for hours at the Sports family's house, but no face reappeared. Nothing happened until 6 when the 2 Sports family boys drove in their Jeep, unloaded their football gear, and carried it into the house. They didn't run out screaming about being robbed. And he'd seen no thief leave. He'd seen no maid leave. At 6:30, Luke reluctantly climbed down from his perch when he heard his mother's knock on the door. He sat down on his bed and muttered, distracted, "Come in." She rushed to hug him. "Luke, I'm sorry. I know you were just trying to help. And everything is amazingly clean. I'd love it if you could do this every day. But your father thinks, you can't." Luke was so busy thinking about the face in the window that at first he couldn't figure out what she was talking about. Oh, the bread, the house cleaning, the radio. "That's okay," Luke mumbled, but it wasn't, and it never would be. His anger came back. Why did his parents have to be so careful? Why didn't they just lock him in one of the trunks in the attic and be done with it? "Can't you talk to him?" Luke asked. "Can't you convince him?" Mother pushed Luke's hair back from his face. "I'll try," she said, "but you know he's just trying to protect you. We can't take any chances." Even if the face in the window of the Sports family house was another kid, another 3rd child, so what? Luke and the other kid could live right next door all their lives and never meet. Luke might never see the other kid again, and he'd certainly never see Luke. Luke lowered his head. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked. "There's nothing for me to do, and I'm supposed to just sit in this room the rest of my life?" Mother was stroking his hair now. It made him feel itchy and irritable. "Oh, Lukey," she said, "you can do so much. Read and play and sleep whenever you want. Believe me, I'd like to live a day of your life right about now." "No, you wouldn't," Luke muttered, but he said it so softly he was sure his mother couldn't hear. He knew she wouldn't understand. If there was a 3rd child in the Sports family, would he understand? Did he feel the way Luke did? Chapter 10. When Luke went down to supper, he saw that Mother had set his 2 loaves of bread out on a china plate she used for holidays and special occasions. She was showing off the bread the way she used to tape up the crooked drawings Matthew and Mark brought home from school when they were little. But something had gone wrong. Maybe Luke hadn't used enough yeast, or he'd kneaded the dough too much or too little, and the loaves had turned out flat. They looked lopsided and pathetic in the center of the table. Luke wished Mother had just thrown them away. "It's cold out now. Nobody'd notice if you pulled the shades. Why can't I sit at the table with all of you?" he asked when he reached the bottom of the stairs. "Oh, Luke," Mother started. "Someone might see your shadow through the shade," Dad said. "They wouldn't know it was mine," Luke said. "But there'd be 5. Someone might get suspicious," Mother said patiently. "Luke, we're just trying to protect you. How about a big slice of your bread? There's cold beef and canned beans, too." Resignedly, Luke sat down on the stairs. That's where I'm going to stop for you guys. Almost through that chapter 2. So your homework is to waggle for 10 minutes. So you should have a total of 40 minutes for the week. You can do an additional 50 minutes if you would like to earn your extra credit points. Your leveled reader project is due on Monday. If you are not at school, it is still due on Monday. It's due the same time everybody else presents. If you don't have it done then, it's a late grade. Your poetry book is due Monday. Make sure that you are reading as well. Have a good day.